today. Joey, tell us what you know of Sir Ben Ainsley and the challenge that he's facing. I mean, we've seen it. The history books tell us he's one of those ferocious competitors that just will not lie down, isn't he?
That's right. And, you know, there's few people that have got the record that Ben's got at Olympic level, and there's few people that have been on match point down, like the last America's Cup, like he was. And he handles pressure just incredibly. So, you know, look for this. You see, he did the last race perfect, and expect another one.
Race number 7 of the semi-final then. All eyes back on the water, and the pre-start underway imminently. The shenanigans of the pre-start.
Well, for both boats, this is what all the practice, all the years of effort and work, all those technical discussions, all those decisions, it comes down to moments like this. This is what the sailors live for, and this is what our sport, this is what this sport and its ability to televise this crazy action now. This is perfect. This is the drama, exactly the drama that we're looking for.
Well, the very best athletes in every single different sport provide their best, bring their best, find their best at moments of high stress and tension, don't they? Champion quality. Peter Burling has brought his today after the extraordinary events of 2 days ago. Very composed in that first matchup this afternoon. Undone by a very strong performance from the British in the second. Proper scrap.
Okay, coming up. Okay, turning up, turning up, turn up. Oh, not that hard. Okay.
So the manoeuvring and the manipulating has begun in the entry box. Ken, what do you expect to see from this position?
Kiwis did that cut the corner maneuver that we saw Artemis do before, so Ainsley got quite deep in the box. He decided not to lead back. He's going to be the aggressor from the windward position. He doesn't want to get too far forward because he wants to be able to do that. He wants to be able to always bear off and start going for the transom, that push maneuver. They're talking that they're racing, that they've gotten so far from the line that they actually may be racing. I heard Giles Scott say we're racing right now.
Yeah, it's working now. Let's just reset this.
Burling thinks they need to kill another couple seconds. Ainsley thinks he's racing from that position. There's Burling. He's going to do a couple little zigzags, try to start dead in front of the Brits.
It's looking like he's going to manage it from this position. They've timed it well, the Kiwis. Peter Burling leads them over the start line at around about 25 knots. And Land Rover BAR, the British, in behind them, chasing now. The first question has been asked. Answers need to be forthcoming soon.
Brits got too deep in the box on that pre-start. It allowed, like Artemis did in the last race, the Kiwis to cut the corner and actually jump out in front. And you heard Giles Scott tell us all, we're racing. And they were racing from 30 seconds away.
Not the ideal start for the British crew, who have had a lot of very good starts here in Bermuda. They've traditionally been the best of starters of all the crews out there. But round mark 1, it is the Kiwis setting the pace and putting all that pressure on the British boat behind them. Good boat speed from Sir Ben Ainsley's men.
Okay, looks light on him. Get ready for it up.
It's going to be a fight to the death, you can be sure of that.
Okay, happy to go here, Ben? Want to go? Happy. Okay, jiving.
First jibe downwind. And the pair of them turning almost simultaneously.
Okay, lay line is
Nice,
1 minute
smooth,
out.
dare I say it, even delicate manoeuvre from the British.
Check lay lines. Okay, lay lines on the fly on me. Copy. Little one hit. Nice. What's the brace doing? Okay, about 25.
That means they have bad instrumentation or bad data on board the boat. So Giles has just said, it's on me, it's not on the instrument. And he's going old school right now. He's winging it.
Holding, please.
Pretty good if you want somebody to wing.
Holding.
Pretty good guy.
Another 5. 5. Okay, Ben, happy. Okay, diving.
So the big question from here, really, can the British reel in the New Zealanders from this kind of position? Only leg 2 of 7.
What do I do here?
But historically, in this event so far, the Kiwis have had the faster boat. It is a big, big ask.
20 seconds. Keeping it a little bit high here.
Talking about keeping it a little bit high. They're going to jibe at this mark and try to do a split.
Okay, jibing. Yours. Yeah. Okay, mine, Nick. Nice work, boys.
Just can't afford any mistakes.
Upwind.
The British steaming away, having split the course and searching for that extra wind that might enable them to close this gap.
Real funky brakes here. 23 to boundary. Setting up.
You know, we're still seeing a British team win or lose this race, sailing with more stability than we've ever seen. You just hope it's not too late for the Brits. Clear improvements from a couple days ago to today.
Hey, mine, Nick.
So you don't want a fast boat to be 100 meters out, a couple hundred meters out ahead of you, though. We always talk about fast boats. Fast boats are a nice feature. They make tacticians look awful smart.
No letter for the grinders. As much power as they can generate required by their skipper, their helmsman. Jono Macbeth, one of the grinders on board Land Rover BAR. He's known as the Bear, 44-year-old team manager, 3 times an America's Cup winner. Once with New Zealand, twice with the Americans, and the first man to get the call from Ed Ainsley 3 years ago when he was setting up this team.
Keep the speed for the tack.
Very important cog in the wheel.
Okay. Setting up.
A man of crazy strength by all accounts as well.
Well, he's only sailed a few races, and like I said, today, a 3-race day, rotation only makes sense. You see Jono Macbeth walking down the street, and you see how physically, he's just a monster. And to think he's not fit enough to be normally on the boat is crazy.
Well, we did just that, didn't we? We did pass Jono Macbeth in the street the other day, and a great cloud of darkness enveloped the pair of us coming.
Yeah, copy.
Well, he's that big.
Some good news for Emirates Team New Zealand fans. Our crack statistician has just told me that in the races that they have been first to mark 1, they've won 100% of the time. And that is clearly not a statistic that the Brits want to hear right now. At the same time, typical British resolve would be, let's be the first to knock them off.
That's the way Sir Ben Ainsley will be thinking. But Peter Burling has proved himself a very cool customer on these waters. 2 men at contrasting periods of their career. Burling 26, Ainsley 40.
If he doesn't lay right turn, we will have a tap bear away right. Big bias to right turn. Lay right, 20 seconds.
And the Cycles putting it in. The only team to operate this form of grinding. The Americans, obviously, with their hybrid, they're kind of hedging their bets. They've got a bike in the back, but most of them going with that perhaps more traditional system.
I think somebody should reach over and actually wake Glenn Ashby up. His heart rate is so down. Cool customer.
Downwind they go with one thought on their mind, and that is to dispatch the British here on the Great Sound.
I think it was very important for Emirates Team New Zealand to try to do the dispatching today, because even though they say their boat is perfect, I think it's very clear to us today they still have some issues to work out, and they would love that extra day in the shed to get some more work done.
And you feel, well, it goes without saying, doesn't it? There's no way they would want to get into a scenario where it was a shootout at 4 points each.
Come this way. Okay, have to go this way.
Not after being up 3 love.
Okay, down 5. Nice tackle. All the way to the crossing.
I didn't realise they were playing tennis. They're cycling. They're sailing.
Tennis reference. We had a toboggan and we had a bobsled reference earlier in the day.
Get another smart wind here. Big let down the him inside, unfortunately.
See the rake, you know, you can't go off of the angle like that because the rake of the dagger board is much further outboard. So it's really difficult to learn about the angles, but the tip links look fairly similar, and I think these are what they call their all-purpose boards on Land Rover BAR that we clearly think has like that 10 to 13 knot sweet spot. That's 10 to 13 knots of wind speed, I might add.
Big gap opening up here, and the Kiwis cruising it at the moment.
Numbers are good.
All numbers are good. Everything's stacking up in their corner at this point.
We keep talking about the cyclers, and we talk about Ashby and Burling, how they crouch down inside those cockpits far more than everybody else. I mean, that's his natural position. Not only does it keep you in one piece when you flip the boat over and you just kind of hang out in that little nook there, but there's no doubt that their windage is dramatically less than all the flailing arms and the guys standing up on the other boats.
Upwinds for a final time for Emirates Team New Zealand. Eyes on the prize. A place in the Challenger Playoff final up for grabs. It could be theirs within a matter of minutes. British challenge fading fast. Something extraordinary is going to happen if they're to stay here, if they're to stay involved in the competition. It's Sir Ben Ainsley's dream. His life's work now, his obsession to find a way to bring the cup back home. A home that he feels should be Great Britain. First race, of course, in 1851 around the Isle of Wight, and it hasn't been in British possession since that date.
Okay, bike off, Nico.
New Zealanders want to take it all the way back to the other side of the planet, to the north and to the South Island, having won it in 95 and 2000, beaten challengers from 4 years ago. It means everything to them. Firmly in control, Peter Burling.
You see him kind of triangulate his vision there. He's looking to windward, upwind for the wind pressure. He's looking down into the boat at probably a true wind number indicator. Maybe some hydraulic pressure, but he's playing the wind shifts, and then he glances back toward Ainsley just to make sure that he's staying close on cue. Thank you, Peter. Make sure that they're staying, for the most part, right in sequence with the Brits. You got him. You don't want to take a chance. You don't want to give him any opportunity to escape at this stage.
Kiwi foot firmly on the British jugular at this point.
They look much more solid in this race too, from a maneuvering standpoint. Clearly, if something ailed them in the last race, in race number 2, when we saw them so unstable in some of the tacks and jibes, they have definitely cured it in this race, it appears. That boat is. We've gone through this before, they really set it up differently than other boats. Burling is his own tactician, so that dialogue that we hear on a lot of the boats between helmsman and tactician just in essence doesn't exist on this boat, because Burling's kind of he's not doing any of the rate controls for the most part. He's got a couple buttons there, but none of the rate controls on the dagger boards. He's just sailing the boat.
Well, it's that distribution of labor and of responsibilities that served them so well, hasn't it, Ken? We know they've got enormous amounts of talent on board that boat, but the way they've shared all the duties is really working for them.
Listen, a Team New Zealand squad from as far back as I can remember just simply don't mind doing things differently if they think it's better. They never mind taking the risk. They never mind stirring things up. I mean, look we got cyclists and Glenn Ashby on an Xbox control, and you know, Burling not doing any of, or apparently not doing any of the controls on the dagger boards the way the other boats are doing them. So they just don't mind being different.
Potential early dive on exit.
Final leg.
Update immediately after the fairway
of this particular campaign for the Kiwis, but the pressure now building all the time on Sir Ben Ainsley, the mastermind of this British challenge, summoning all his powers of resilience and resolve and fighting spirit. It might not be enough.
100, 120, 130, 140, 145. Good break this way, John. Okay. Happy to just stretch the boundary. Intersections in 4, so want to hit
they
boundary.
Need a gift, a substantial gift right now, and barring one small incident from 2 days ago, I don't see the Kiwis doing it.
But the wind speed altogether different, isn't it, from a couple of days ago? 11.5 knots average, where we were comfortably above 20, and it was gusting up to 26 and 27 on Tuesday.
All within the limits that all the teams voted for. So I know some people were claiming that maybe the boats shouldn't have sailed, but you know what? Best in the world, best boats in the world, best sailors in the world. Within the wind limits, you go sailing.
Okay, one more maneuver, lads. Let's make it a good one. 1 minute
And we
out.
cannot overstate the significance of this recovery from Emirates Team New Zealand as a whole. The sailors who were involved in that wipeout,
Look at
the
this.
shore team who've repaired the boats, and they are chilled as you like as they head towards the finish line and towards a place in the Challenger playoff final.
We'll have to get, once we get all the heart rate monitors on all of the crew members, and this is a slow process, folks, where this is obviously a new feature and new technology we're bringing into the television. It'll be interesting to see if all their heart rates are just simply lower than all the guys on grinders. Certainly from first appearance, it certainly looks like that.
Yep, we'll be able to collate all those details, all those statistics, and top them up, try and work our way through them, find out exactly what they tell us. The naked eye will tell us everything we need to know here. The Kiwis are on their victory march through the final gates and down the runway to the Challenger playoff final. New Zealand fans on their feet. What a turnaround from 2 days ago when the boat was upside down. 3 of their 6 crew were splashing around in the water, and now carrying all before them.
Just trying to get some speed and coming down. There we go. 10 to go, boys.
And there's the 26-year-old helmsman who's taken charge of the operation, taken responsibility for what happened a couple of days ago, and turned their fortunes around. The New Zealanders into the playoff final, and for Britain, the quest is over. Tremendous win for the Kiwis. They can put their feet up for a handful of days at least. Comfortable margin of victory as well. And we switch our attention to the British boat. Heartbreak for Sir Ben Ainsley. Heartbreak for the mastermind. The 166-year wait to win the cup. It goes on. They've thrown heart and soul into the campaign.
Guys, good effort.
They've threatened, but they've come up short.
That was the best we sailed today by a long way. Sorry about the button. Fucking button got me.
Well, it's hard to ignore what Sir Ben Ainsley has just said. That's the best that we've seen them sail. Apologies for the language you may have picked up. Britain eliminated by the New Zealanders who've dragged themselves up off the canvas following that almighty capsize.
Good on you, mate. Pleasure.
And they've delivered the knockout punch to Land Rover BAR and the British Challenge. Have to feel for those associated with the British team, all those countless hours of preparation, the countless millions of